Last night was meant to be Rachel's girls' night. We're engaged, with our wedding 6 months away. I'm 32, and I was home alone, bored, just scrolling through social media. That's when a live video popped up. Carolyn, one of Rachel's friends, was streaming. The title caught my attention: Spilling Tea, Pre-Wedding Shenanigans. I've never really liked Carolyn. She's always come off as over the top, but curiosity got the better of me. When I clicked in, I saw Rachel in the center, laughing with a wine glass in hand. Carolyn and two other friends, Janet and Maria, were there too. At first, it was all harmless chatter, talk about the wedding stress, fittings, and venue bookings. Then things took a turn. Carolyn looked at Rachel and asked, "So, how's Mr. Perfect really doing?" Rachel laughed loudly, almost mockingly. "Patrick? He's so clueless. Thinks the wedding is all about budgets and checklists. He doesn't get what it really takes." Her voice was laced with sarcasm and disdain. Janet joined in, joking that Rachel planned to re-educate me once we were married. Something about how she'd fix the dull, beige bachelor pad. They all laughed. Then Rachel added, her words a little slurred, "Sometimes I think he loves his job and bank account more than me. But whatever. He's manageable. Makes good money. He'll pay for the dream life after I whip him into shape." That line made my stomach sink. Carolyn chimed in again. "Girl, he's totally under your thumb." Rachel smiled smugly. "Pretty much. He's so safe, so predictable. Has no clue. Thinks I'm just this sweet little angel." Then she put on this exaggerated, innocent face, batting her lashes. "He's so clueless," she said again. They all burst out laughing. It didn't feel like venting. It felt cold, cruel, like I was just a means to an end. Without even thinking, I typed a comment using my real account. "Am I?" The chat was flying, but Carolyn noticed it and stiffened. "Rachel," she murmured, pointing to the screen. Rachel leaned in, and when she saw my name, her face went pale. "Oh my God, Patrick," she whispered. I typed again. "Rachel, since we're being honest, let me be clear. The wedding's off. Engagement's over. Find someone else to fund your dream house. Good night." She started scrambling to end the stream, yelling at Carolyn to shut it off. The last thing I saw was Rachel's horrified face as the live feed cut. My phone started blowing up, calls and texts from Rachel, Carolyn, even Rachel's mom. I blocked Carolyn, turned off my phone, and poured myself a drink. I sat in silence, staring at the custom engagement ring on the coffee table. It looked heavier than ever. 15 minutes later, the doorbell rang. Rachel was there, mascara streaked, looking wrecked. Her mom, Deborah, stood behind her, fuming. Rachel's voice cracked as she said, "Patrick, please. It was just a stupid joke. Girl talk. It didn't mean anything." Deborah stepped in, livid. "You humiliated my daughter over some prank. You can't just call off a wedding in a live stream chat." I looked straight at Rachel. "Was it a joke when you said I was clueless? That you needed to train me? That I was just funding your dream life?" Rachel was panicking. "No, I mean yes. I said it, but it was the wine. Carolyn was pushing me." I stayed calm. "I don't think you love me. And I know I don't love the person I just saw on that screen." Deborah interrupted again. "We've paid deposits. People have booked flights. You will fix this." I replied, "Your daughter publicly disrespected me and treated me like a bank account. The only thing I'm fixing now is the mess of separating our lives. This wedding isn't happening." Rachel broke down crying. "My dress, the venue, everyone saw it. You've ruined everything." I told her, "No, Rachel. You did that when you showed the world who you really are." Eventually, I got them to leave. Deborah was ranting about money and shame. Rachel sobbed the whole time. The phone wouldn't stop buzzing that night, texts ranging from furious to confused. But all I felt was numb. Still, I was sure. I called my lawyer first thing in the morning. Then things got worse. The next day, Rachel and Deborah showed up at my office building. Rachel was crying in the lobby, Deborah shouting at the front desk. She even demanded to talk to my boss so he could knock some sense into me. Security escorted them out. Later, My boss pulled me aside and said, "Handle your personal drama off-site." It was humiliating. Then came the legal threats. Rachel's new lawyer, Mrs. Samuel, sent a demand for $10,000 for non-refundable wedding expenses and $5,000 more for emotional distress and humiliation. The nerve. Thankfully, my lawyer Christine, sharp as they come, drafted a calm but firm response. She pointed out that Rachel had willingly embarrassed me in public, mocked our relationship, and clearly had no intention of marrying in good faith. The live stream, she said, spoke volumes. Rachel's still convinced she did nothing wrong. Carolyn, ever the drama queen, has been posting cryptic stuff online about fragile egos and men who fear strong women. Classic Carolyn. Interestingly, Rachel's father, Gregory, gave me a call. He sounded tired and worn. "Patrick, she really messed up. But this is a disaster. Deborah's losing it. Is there any way to soften the fallout?" I told him, respectfully, "Gregory, this wasn't a mistake. It was a plan. And I saw it in her own words. I'm done." He sighed and said he understood. Rachel hasn't stopped trying to reach me. She's gone through burner phones, leaving voicemails that shift from begging to rage. "How could you do this to me?" seems to be her favorite line lately. She's also been acting out, changing passwords on our shared streaming accounts. Petty stuff. I locked everything down. Then I found charges, over $800 in skincare on a department store credit card. She still had access to it, something I'd forgotten. I reported the card as stolen and disputed the purchases. My lawyer is adding that to the growing file: credit card misuse, public scenes, emotional manipulation. Christine says it builds a pattern, proof that Rachel is not acting in good faith. That'll help if they try to force me to pay for the wedding. Some of our mutual friends have reached out. A few are in my corner, while others try to excuse her behavior as just blowing off steam. Doesn't matter. I know what I saw. I heard it. This whole thing was a bullet dodged. It's going to be chaotic for a while, but I know I made the right call. Rachel says it was just immaturity. But to me, it wasn't about being young. It was calculated. Cold. The worst part? The venue. They won't refund the deposit. $8,000 gone. I paid half myself, with her parents covering the rest. Still, better to lose money than marry someone who saw me as a tool to shape, fund, and manipulate. Let the pieces fall where they may. I'll rebuild. On my own terms. Her lawyer came at me hard, demanding I give up my share and pay back her parents for theirs. His claim? I was the one who pulled the plug. But Christine, my attorney, countered fiercely, arguing Rachel's conduct had been so out of line, it invalidated the entire agreement. We hit a stalemate. Costly, draining, and full of tension. I won't pretend it didn't hurt. There were quiet moments when I'd think about what we were trying to build and feel a deep sadness. But then I'd remember the laughter, her mocking me behind my back with a friend. That cut deep. And just like that, sadness turned to clarity. My focus shifted to protecting what was mine. 2 months later, everything escalated. Of course it did. Her lawyer, Samuel, likely realized the emotional damage angle wasn't sticking, especially after Christine dropped a pile of evidence: Rachel's erratic voicemails, calls from burner phones, and even a security report from my job. With the sympathy play falling apart, they pivoted, hard, straight into a financial war. Bold, shameless, and brutal. The first target was the venue. They wanted me to cover all costs, blaming me for canceling. But Christine fired back. We filed to reclaim my share, stating clearly that Rachel's actions forced the collapse. We had it all: the chat logs, the video clips, the bragging session where Rachel talked about using my income to reach her goals. When Samuel saw just how stacked our deck was, Rachel's own voice, no less, he backed down fast. We both lost our deposits in the end, which stung, but it was better than being bled dry. That didn't sit well with Rachel's camp. Her parents were furious. They weren't getting reimbursed either. So Rachel and her friend Deborah escalated, this time with personal attacks. Lies. Ugly ones. Someone, likely Caroline, probably nudged by Rachel, started a smear campaign. Rumors that I was controlling, emotionally manipulative, even dishonest at work. They didn't stop at gossip. They reached out to female colleagues, mutual friends, anyone who might listen, all to taint my name. Then it got worse. My employer received an anonymous email loaded with those same baseless accusations. I was livid, but I stayed composed. I laid it all out for my boss. The breakup, the harassment, the attempts to ruin me. He believed me. Still, HR had to do its due diligence. They launched a confidential review. Those few days were rough, stressful. But in the end, there was nothing, no evidence, just empty noise. Everything was dismissed. Yet it took a toll. That week stole my peace of mind. That was it for me. I could tolerate being trash-talked in private. But trying to wreck my career with outright lies? That crossed every line. We upgraded our legal approach. Christine had already drafted a cease and desist. After the workplace stunt, we filed for a restraining order. We cited harassment, repeated calls from burner numbers, financial manipulation, and even an attempted credit card scheme. We included affidavits from colleagues who received messages and the email to my boss. The hearing was surreal. Rachel showed up playing the wounded ex-fiancée, tears, soft voice, the whole act. Deborah was fuming, and Caroline kept smirking until the judge told her to leave or sit quietly. Samuel spun the same tired story. Poor Rachel, left behind. Christine calmly queued up our evidence, recordings, screenshots, the stream where Rachel laughed about how easy I was to manipulate. Then came the workplace harassment, the fraud attempts, the obsessive contact. And then came the moment that sealed it. When Christine brought up the anonymous emails, Rachel muttered under her breath, "Caroline, you weren't supposed to," loud enough for our side to hear. Samuel looked like the ground might swallow him. The judge didn't hold back. He called Rachel out directly, made it clear false allegations carry real weight. He granted the restraining order, minimum 100 yards, no contact, not even through a third party. Caroline looked like she bit into something bitter. Rachel looked like she'd just woken up from a bad dream. Deborah mentioned appealing, but I didn't care about theatrics. I wanted finality. That stream? It's now backed up in multiple secure locations. My insurance policy against whatever revisionist story Rachel tries next. I cut every financial tie, joint accounts, cards, anything with her name on it. If it belonged to me, she had no claim. If it was hers, I walked away. She said she wanted independence. Now she has it. The order ensures that if she even brushes the edges of my life again, there are legal consequences. Christine also sent a warning to Samuel. One more lie, and a defamation suit is coming. Caroline's name was specifically mentioned. I've heard she's paranoid now. Good. Let her be. I also cleaned house, socially. The friends who pressure me to take it easy on her? Gone. No space left in my life for enablers. The ones who stood by me? They're still here. I hold them close. As for Rachel, word is she's not doing well. Her parents are furious about the legal bills and the restraining order showing up in public records. Their precious wedding fund? Burned up in court fees and forfeited deposits. She's back with her parents. Her part-time job doesn't come close to funding the life she had planned, with my help. I never gave her a grand speech or a dramatic confrontation. I didn't need to. Reality did the talking. She thought she could use the legal system to destroy me. Turns out I knew how to fight back. I won't say I'm happy about any of it. There's a bitter taste that lingers. But it's quiet now. The chaos has finally died down. I can breathe. I'm focusing on my work, my real friendships, and eventually, maybe, learning to trust again. That'll take time. For now, I'm just thankful the circus is gone, even if I had to tear the tent down myself. She thought I was clueless. She had no idea who she was up against.